here's my book, Reading Place, and I'm really thrilled to be here. So I'm going to read a few poems from this book. The first poem in the book I want to read today to share with you all, sort of in honor of my husband's birthday, which is tomorrow, and he comes in at the end of the poem.
Literally?
The opening, not literally, but in the last stanza you'll meet him, sort of. The opening place. Under the open sky, you are not here. I celebrate a bit in the sand, squirm, and lie under the hot noon sun as an old warplane makes a pass-by, puttering noises in the firmament above. I know I should go back to the others, to the sweat and pop of canned beer and laughter, but I walk further and lay my body down, topless now and all alone. The warm waves of the receding tide caress and lap hungrily, my arms long and luxurious by my side like fluid oars. I try to lie still, absorb my surroundings, watchful of the darting plover who is neck-banded and busy, plucking its beak into air bubbles as the waves recede. I make little chirping noises, the way I lulled my children to sleep when they were young. Sounds of small rocks tap as they fall from the cliffs looming behind me. I startle at first as small scars appear, destined to crack even more from erosion. Will these cliffs be here when I am gone? I dare to explore my own body in this fragile environment, where sand and sea crisscross above and around me, where sand cakes my hair, oozes between my toes. The salt marsh smells linger with bracken pond, decaying oak and pine. Glacial remains face a hot climbing sea that appears flat and somewhat ruffled by large seals scalloped in brown arcs. You are not here, and I know that. You are tall and stiff now, like an anchor that does not weigh me down, but holds me still. Thank you, Steve. Some of my family are here doing this. So this second poem is in honor of my late mother, Shirley Ellis Cummings. She died right before COVID-19 came here, but we were watching the news, and she was a huge MSNBC, age 90, and she was going strong right up until the end. And I am grateful that she passed in a very peaceful way, and I was here, I got to be with her. But she was really excited about this book. So in her memory, I want to read a poem. And actually, Rebecca and Sherry published this on their website, and I really want to give them a shout out and thanks for supporting my work. So with the ekphrasis idea of a poem that is made from looking at art or listening to music. So this poem was made in that way because my parents just loved, the music of, the 40s and 50s and show tunes and everything. So there's this great Louis and Ella, Louis Armstrong and Ella Fitzgerald song that my mom loved called The Way You Look Tonight. So kind of think of that in the background, this sort of jazzy riff. So this poem, I took it down pretty much verbatim from my mom. So in that sense, it's really found poetry, which was cool. I had whipped out my phone. I just started writing it down while she told me the story. The way it was like this. The way it was like this. It was 1950, and you were living in New York City and sharing a room with your mother. Sure, the address was good, but you had to get out of there. It wasn't until the starched sailor appeared at your doorstep that you began to go out. You dressed up. You went places like the Stork Club and drank Coke out of a straw. You curled your hair and ironed your taffeta. You wore high heels and silk stockings. He liked the way the bodice clung. You go out, and the streets of New York are filled with soldiers. back from the war, back in college on the GI Bill, their faces a little bit worn, too old for college students. Every night when your guy was back on leave, you went out. You never tired of this. Your high heels clicked on the sidewalk in a reassuring way. When you got home, your mother was asleep. You said goodbye to your sailor and climbed the stairs at 381 Park. Your neighbor, Saul Lustbader, back from the war in Germany, he left the door open a crack, and when you passed by, it clicked shut. He knew you were home. He watched out for you. So I just have a couple more. This one is called Journey. Wrote it after our youngest son was missing for a time in Mexico, and sort of it's more of a mother's journey, trying to find her son, who is now here in Vermont with us, happily so. This is called Journey. I remember the tap on my elbow, the security guard. Come with me, I'll take you there. A place where the rivers run below the Pueblo, where the Maya build straight roads. I travel far, but hold on to my son still. A flight of swallows wells up inside as I fumble with keys and a rented car. I'm running out of gas, a roadless journey to find my youngest son, to take him back, a different person who left home. And when I find him, he smiles weakly, says he will come back with me, shoeless and his soles burned by fire, holding the hand of Sophia, his other half. We bathe in our reunion river, never even reaching the ocean, but forever in our bonding, we remain mother and son. My days are like cobwebs, some flash of brilliance, light on a penny. Saying goodbye to my son, he's like light itself, shot glass full of guile and wonder. He asks me how to wash his laundry. I suppose I didn't teach him right, but now I do. We wash his dirty clothes in the sink, using a few drops of detergent and hot water. The drain is plugged, and we are silent. I tell him only occasional agitation. Later, we rinse twice, and he constructs a crude clothesline on our son's spattered roof deck. Plaid boxers and t-shirts drip for the day, with slogans writ large he will wear on his journey to remind him of home. And I'm going to read just the last poem in the book, sort of in honor of my publisher who is in Ireland. They're in County Clare, in the village of Ennistimon. So Salmon Poetry published, I think, over 400 books of poetry, and I just really admire them. And I got to go there 2 years ago and meet them all. And so this poem is kind of about my trip to Ireland and honoring also Billy Collins, who's been really a mentor to me, sort of took me under his wing through a connection. Actually, Pam Allen is here from the wonderful Bookstock Festival every summer in Woodstock, Vermont, where Billy read. This is called I Had My Heart Blown Open. That's a line from Seamus Heaney. I had my heart blown open. Through the species of silence, I walk the burn trail, alone and not sure where to go. Through the winding limestone, small gentian violets poke their heads up, saying, I'm here, don't forget me. Along the cliffs of Moher, lines from poems come to keep me from thinking of the mess America is in, the orchestra sliding into the sea. My bar patrons back in Ennistimon clap their hands, and I flush from the pint, the excitement of being far away. My poems, reading my poems in an Irish pub. A country full of stories I travel through, alone by day, even at night when I return, under the moon, the waves, the salt spray. The wind snaps my cabin door in gusts that moan. I notice an eerie light that glows on my wall like the ghost of Rossivera. I swear I saw all those years ago. My grandmother, elegant in her tweed and pearls, believing me. As we sat in the back of the VW bus with my father, his tweed cap, his jaunty walk, and billfold at the ready, driving 5 daughters, his wife and her mother, everywhere. We made it to the top of Crowpatrick, just me and my dad, past penitents on their knees, limestone dust coughed up in our lungs. Now I travel the same roads and watch the Irish landscape grow small in the rear view mirror, while a voice grows loud in my head. Away, come away to the flaggy shore. I am sweeping the words through time. I am Maud Gunn on the foamy waves. I swing into the darkness. I am not afraid, guided by moonlight over bogs, sunset over Galway Bay. Thank you all.